Okay, live streamed. Got it. It's gonna take just, will the full course will be streamed on YouTube? Of course not. Of course not. Why it would be? Why? This is the only basic class. That is why we are streaming it live on YouTube. And there we go. All right, so we got this one up and running, and now let's go ahead and get it up. And we're going to present this one, and let me full screen this and start presenting. And let me share my screen so that we can officially get started on the DevOps. All right. All right, so welcome to the DevOps class. And I would like to welcome all of you for this DevOps class. Let me bring up the chats and stuff so that I can keep on asking the questions. And all those people who are watching it on YouTube live and stuff, fantastic guys, really happy to have you up here. Let me just start. Let me first open up my panel so that I can see all the people are watching. Let me go up here on the studio. Just a second. I'll be just checking and streaming and providing a link to join the course in case you want to. Let me go into the control room so that everybody, and this is going to be a class about, before you get started DevOps, you need to learn these basics, and this will be super, super helpful for every single one of you. So yes, so let me go ahead and put up. So the class link is here. In the pinned, you can see if you are interested in getting into the class, that is what you can use. All right. So this class is live, and we're going to be streaming this class up here. So hey there, everyone. Welcome to this live stream about DevOps. I know a lot of you are interested in getting started on the DevOps. A lot of people have already enrolled in the course where I'm teaching, and in fact, not just me, a lot of people are teaching about the DevOps. This is going to be the first class, and we here at Aineron think that this class should be streamed live, since we believe in the community service, and at least some basic knowledge about the DevOps before getting started in the DevOps should be generalized and should be made public. This is the only class that we are going to stream live. The future classes are not going to be streamed live. This is just the first class. We have already done the induction class, basic introduction, so we'll be going through with that. And this is the class where we are going to simply get up and running with that. Okay, I hope that is all good. I'll be taking all of your questions and stuff at the later on. Right now, I just want to share the screen and talk about some of the mindset, some of the principles, and some of the terminologies of the DevOps. In case you want to get started with DevOps, this is going to give you a brief overview and a lot of insight about the DevOps. All right. So let me know in the chat if you're all excited, and should we stream up live, and should we get started up here? All right. So just get started, and there we go. So let me just bring my Zoom. There we go. All right, all good, much excited. Let's go ahead and get started with this one. So, all right. So this is the DevOps, and let me bring it up. So there we go. All right, so the DevOps class. So first and foremost, let me get started, up and running. There we go. Okay, all good, all set. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the DevOps class. And in this video, we are going to simply get started with the DevOps. DevOps is an exciting world. It is not just a combination of developers and operation, usually we call it that, but in this entire 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I will introduce you with the DevOps terminologies, the DevOps mindset, and how it can help your organization to ship better code. There is a concept in the DevOps world which is known as concept to cash, really popular in a lot of books, O'Reilly, Pact, whatever the book's recommendation you are going for, this is a common terminology being used. So let's go ahead and get started with the DevOps up here. So into the world of DevOps, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to understand the definition of the DevOps. So first of all, let's get started and start by discussing with the basic term of what is DevOps, first and foremost. And you can feel free to write your definition that you know in the comment section. I would be really happy to know that. And so what is the DevOps? Okay, so Okay, so again, the questions I'll be taking only from the class itself. So question I'll be taking from the class itself, and those who are interested in joining, they can see the, yes, a lot of people says it's a development operations, it's an ecosystem, a lot of people believe that it's just Docker and Kubernetes. Does it make a DevOps? I am pretty sure it doesn't. A lot of people says it's a Terraform. It means simply having infrastructure as a code. Is it DevOps? Some people say CI/CD pipeline, having things like a lot of Argo CD or maybe Vercel as a tool who can build automatically. No, this is not. None of them is a DevOps. DevOps is different, and we are going to work on with the DevOps. And through this stream, this video itself, we are going to understand at least the basics so that you can have an interaction about what DevOps is. So let me go ahead and walk you through with what DevOps is. There is no official definition. I looked up really hard on a lot of platform, IBM, a lot of books, O'Reilly books and stuff before preparing for this video, this lecture, and couldn't find an ideal definition. The most close that I look for is it's a cultural practice in an organization by development team and operation team to use each other tools to smooth out the delivery process of software delivery, to smooth out the process of software delivery. The most important part here is not the combination of developers and operation. The most important part is to smooth out the process of delivery and use each other's tool. That is the gist of it. For example, for years, we have seen that the team who is in the operations hardly ever use GitHub or maybe any kind of version controlling system. They've always been keeping those scripts in their hard drives and someplace safe, and they always use those scripts. That's all they do. We have never seen that the software people are worried about that why my build is getting failed and getting an immediate response from that. So in the world of DevOps, you actually understand each other works. That is the most of it. And yes, in the comments, Chandrasekhar says it's process like agile methodology. We will come on to the agile because I know that's the most common. A lot of people think about it, but it's not agile. It's a different thing. The whole idea is that we have a same goal. From your DBA, database administration, to your operations, to your networking guys, to your developers, we all have same goal that we want to push the features as quickly as possible. But because we don't interact with each other, that is why there is a lot of delay and there is a lot of wall between the people. So sending code to the production is not that easy as you think. In the smaller case, you just write the code, you push it, and it works out. But in an organization where 100 people are working or 200 people are working, it is not that much easy to work on with. So in this entire section, we are going to learn about the mindset and some of the definition of it. So yes, I couldn't find any formal definition. The brief overview that I can give you is in this DevOps world, operation teams actually uses a lot of dev tools and a lot of team like code team. And this code team is responsible majorly for pushing out new features into the product. We have a testing team who test out whether the things are working, and there can be unit testing, integration testing. There's a lot we can discuss here. There is also a deployment team. Now, this deployment team has a lot of work in the hand. A lot of time, developers think that the deploy team only what they do is we send them code and they send it out on the server. But in reality, there is a lot of job, insane, crazy amount of job on the deployment team. It's not just a computer or a server which is up and running. It requires more updates. There are OS updates, there are kernel updates, there are security updates, there are agents that need to be installed on those servers. There are load balancing that we need to do. What about when there is an extra load? How does it crash? Why does it crash? And there is a lot of responsibilities on development team, deployment team as well. And there's an operation team as well in the world. And these are just few that I have named, but there can be a lot of things. So this whole now act as a singular team, and that is what DevOps is. Making sure that all the team understand the goals, and not only just the goal, they understand each other's responsibility. That is your DevOps. That is your DevOps to the foundation. Surely there are tools that are involved in DevOps, but until unless you understand this mindset of why we are bringing DevOps on the first place, you will never become a DevOps engineer and you will never be able to implement DevOps into your organization. So first, let's think outside. Let's think from a big perspective that what DevOps is, and that is going to help you a lot. All right. And by the way, all those who are watching in the live stream, make sure you check out the pinned comment. I think that would be great. Okay, let's move on to further thing, a little bit more on the DevOps that we are going to study in this. So if you want to implement DevOps in an organization, what you need to learn. It's not like I can learn a Terraform and implement DevOps. It's not like I can learn Kubernetes and can implement DevOps. DevOps is way more bigger than that. And in fact, I have divided this into two major parts that in order you want to become a DevOps engineer or you want to implement DevOps in your organization. Because remember, whenever you are learning something, learn like you own the organization, and eventually I'll be at the head position and I will make my organization. So this is how I will structure. Then only you will be able to understand what DevOps is and how it works. So the first three things that we have to learn, this is like a section 1, is what are the core values of DevOps, what are the core ideas, and what are the methods of DevOps. Just keep them in the mind or as in notes. And by the way, who all are into the course, this entire presentation will be given to you. You don't have to worry on that part. So this is the first thing. Once you understand the core values, methods, and the idea behind the DevOps, then after that, you can only proceed to learn about the practices and tools. Yes, tools are helpful. We are going to have a small, very, very small discussion about it, but practices that you have to learn. One of the practice like infrastructure as a code. I'll give you some examples in tomorrow's class that how infrastructure as a code looks, how the Terraform comes into the picture and makes us all DevOps friendly. So we are going to learn through that. And yes, I know there is a step behind learn Linux, Docker, Kubernetes. These are all tools. Yes, I do agree, but we need to understand the practices, and before even practices, core values, core ideas, and methods. Until unless you are able to demystify that infinite loop, you will never be getting into the world of DevOps. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Now, obviously, the very first thing you need to learn is why should I learn DevOps? Because it's like, why should I? Agile is working fine. We are shipping out the softwares pretty nice. Like what's even the need on the first place to introduce DevOps? Why should I actually consider introducing in my organization and retrain all of my people? Let's just say there are 20 staff of my development team, 10 staff in my testing team, and probably 10 staff in my operations. Why I need to restructure them, introduce them to each other that, hey, now we have a new philosophy in the company, which is DevOps. We don't follow Agile. Agile has been working fine. Yes, Agile has been working fine, but there is a little bit flaw in that. Not too much, it's perfectly fine, but there is a little bit flaw in that. Before the Agile, we all know there was a waterfall model. I'll walk you through what are these. These are software models, very bookish language, don't you worry. So in the early days, what used to happen is we used to have waterfall model. Waterfall simply says that, hey, collect all the specification from the client and then deliver all at once. So this was the waterfall initial model. After that, the agile method came in and says, hey, instead of delivering all things once at a client, that instead of doing this, let's deliver the functionality one by one. Features we have collected, but one by one, we'll roll out the feature. This is known as agile. That means as the features are ready, let's ship them out. As the features are ready, let's ship them out. This is an agile methodology. But the problem with the agile is agile mentions all of the things. Agile mentions all of the things about the software development cycle, but it doesn't say anything about how the production is going to happen, how we are going to move things into production, how we are going to move it into the world of servers, how server maintenance is going to come, how we are going to scale up the infrastructure. So remember and understand this very fundamental thing. There was no mention in the agile about the servers. And once we actually start talking about the servers, infrastructure, what kind of system is going to be there, how system updates are going to go through, then comes up the DevOps. If you introduce DevOps as a methodology in your company, it actually increase your deployment. Deployments are 50% faster. There are less failure because your development controls a lot of things, your operations control a lot of things, and better recovery time. In case a feature has been shipped which is wrongly being shipped, it is easier to recover that, and it is easier to actually produce code which can again probably fix that bug or maybe roll a recovery. So that is all easier in that case. Okay. And yes, this means that all of our team, front end, back end, our QAs, our DB admins, our network admin, all have to work in the sync. Okay, so far so good. Let me know in the comment. If this is all good, we can move forward. You have understood this much of the basics, then we can move forward. And yes, this is equally important. Okay, all good so far? Okay, now let's go ahead and talk a little bit more onto that. So the core foundation so far we have learned is entire team think that this is a one process. So one thing I'll tell you, when your team grows in size, a lot of developer thinks that, hey, this new admin guy, he is not shipping my feature faster. And this admin guy is always thinking, hey, why he's shipping so much of the code? My code is not ready yet. I need to make sure that the uptime is always there, and I need to make some admin updates into the database. So team is not synchronized. And in the DevOps process, the team is entirely synced. Even your operation guy sits close to the development team to understand that how you're packaging your application and everything. Okay, so far so good. Now let's go ahead and move on about the CAMs. In case you are facing any interview in the DevOps, this CAMs is going to come into the picture, especially in the junior roles and the fresher role. CAMs is going to be asked like probably a lot, if not, but at least there is some discussion about, can you explain a little bit about DevOps CAMs? And yes, I'll take the question. No need to raise the hand right now. Once we finish up this class and go through with all of that, then I'll be sitting here. Don't you worry, and we'll be answering all of your questions. All right? Okay. Can anybody tell me in the comments, have you ever studied about the CAMs or have learned about it? What is DevOps CAMs? No, never heard about it. Great, take notes, because this is going to be asked in the interview. No, this is not an interview guarantee or job guarantee thing, but this is going to be asked. So make sure you you actually take a notes on that. So these are CAMs. CAMs is a philosophy that is being asked in almost every interview, and you need to answer them according to what I'm telling you, okay? The CAM is a culture, automation, measurement, and sharing. This is the core foundation. This was the term coined by the guy who actually used the first time word in the conference, DevOps. So this guy actually gave this one. If you'll search CAMs in DevOps, you'll find a lot of great articles. Some books refer that. A lot of people refer that. So that is what the CAMs is. Okay, let's talk about them one by one. First, we're going to talk about the culture. What is the culture? See, one of the core important thing about the company is to create a DevOps culture. And one of the culture which DevOps encourage is talk to each other. A lot of time we have seen developers sit at one place, operations sits at one place, and testers sit at one place. In the world of DevOps, you need to talk to each other, because if you're not talking to each other, your developers will not be able to package your application properly in the Docker and how you're running it on Kubernetes. You need to make them understand that how I'm going to run your application via load balancer. You don't need to hard code your databases. It's going to be scaled up around and all of that. So one of the culture that DevOps provide is talk to each other. A lot of people think about, hey, I'll just use Kubernetes. I'll just use Containerd. I'll use Docker and all of that. No, it doesn't really work. First, you need to ask your team in which thing you are comfortable, because let's just say you are suddenly introducing Kubernetes and nobody in your developer team knows about containerizing and Docker. You will be wasting a lot of your resources. So talk to each other. That is the most important thing. And there is also a foundation which I would highly like you to write down and have a note on this one, which is people over process over tools. This is a common terminology. A lot of people will ask you. So make sure you take a note on that. In the DevOps, we always value first and foremost the people. Then we value the process, and then comes the tool. It's not like tools come first. Hey, suddenly I found out that Puppet is not working, or I have heard about this cool thing known as GitHub Action and I'm going to implement this tomorrow. No, this doesn't work, because the organization might be existing. You might be having some process to push the things. You'll be breaking down everything. A lot of people, especially in the new beginners, when they get started into the DevOps journey, they want to implement every cool thing. One day they heard about Pulumi and they say Terraform is bad, I'll be using Pulumi. This doesn't work. Always value people, then process, and then comes the tool. So this is being asked in interviews quite a lot. Make sure you understand that part. So we have understood how the culture of the DevOps works. Then comes the automation. Remember, automation is not just about introducing Chef, Puppet, Pulumi, or Terraform. These are tools. You can learn tools in just a week or just 2 weeks and implement that. But the most important question is, thousands of servers are impossible to manage. Everybody talks about thousands of servers, hundreds of servers, 500 servers. But do you need that many of the server? And how you are going to automate those servers? That is the most important question. And should you automate them? Maybe your application is absolutely new. You just need 2 servers, or maybe just 1 server. You are having a traffic of maybe just 100,000 people, or maybe 200,000 people. Should you be injecting that much of Kubernetes, and should you be injecting those many microservices? Instagram still runs on a monolith server. So ask and question again that do you really need it? Automation is a good thing, but this doesn't mean you really need automation. Question carefully, do you need automation? And then only move into automation. And again, ask your people first, then the process, and then tool. This will always come forward in this one. So automation in the camps stands for implement automation in such a way that it can be replicated. And that is why Terraform is one of the favorite for DevOps, because in the Terraform, no matter what you're doing, you can replicate the stuff. Whatever the code file you've written, that will always put your infrastructure in the same manner that it has done on the day one. So that is why it is important. Then comes the measurement. Measure to improve. You might have heard about CloudWatch or maybe a lot of things, a lot of these fancy names. Devesh is asking Terraform versus Pulumi. These are just tools. We don't have to worry about what these tool does. They are just tools right now. We have zero knowledge about Pulumi. We have zero knowledge about Terraform. Right now, we don't know about them. Right now, I'm teaching you the basics and mindset of DevOps. So don't need to worry. And in fact, at the end of this video, I'll walk you through some terminologies as well so that you can take better decision. Now, you might have heard about that we need to monitor some of the stuff, the measurement of the stuff. For example, how much bill is going to generate. If the bill crosses $10, notify me. There are also monitoration that if server gets a load where CPU is more than 80%, notify me or spin up another server. So there are a lot of times in the DevOps world where you need some measurement, and we'll discuss about the measurement of the classic Hotstar as well in a minute. We'll talk about that. But right now, all you need to understand is this: there are measurement, there are infrastructure measurement that people do a lot, but it should not be just restricted to infrastructure management. There should be a measurement about the client activity as well, and we must extract the data. And after extracting that data, we must incentivize it. Simply saying, whatever the data you are monitoring, just don't monitor it. Take some action on that. And it's just not about monitoring your infrastructure. Also monitor how this is impacting your developers. Are they able to ship your feature faster or not? Is it impacting your client? Let me give you a classic example. Okay. Why can't you be clear? We are not understanding. Pala, what you are not understanding, just let me in the chat. I'll discuss that. Just let me know in the chat what you are not able to understand this, and I'll give you one example as well. Just get this one. All right. Okay, measurement. I'm waiting for your chat. Can you get a bit slow? Sure. Just let me know what we need to go for. So let me know. Going good, or should I continue? Speak a little slow. Sure, I can speak slow all day. Going good? Pala, can you, you said something. Okay, let me give you one example of the measurement. Okay, so nothing. Okay, can we say DevOps engineer is subset of cloud engineering? Yeah, kind of, you can say that. Okay, let me give you one example about the measurement. And I think all the new terms, yes, these are all new terms. I do agree. And that is why video will be available to you. You can rewatch them as many times as you like. Even the slide will be given to you. Okay, let me give you a classic example of what happens with the measurement. Okay, see, in the measurement world, you might have seen having more server is good. You might have heard about this thing that more server means good. You will be able to handle more traffic. But there are cases when a developer is actually shipping a code, and that code might require one server only, or maybe just two servers, and you are spinning up 20 servers. That is probably going to increase your load time of the website. Yes, this also happens. It is costly, but it might increase your load time as well, because sometimes load balancer get like, where should I send this request to? There are 10 and you don't need 10. So in that case, if not properly configured, this can be really, really problem. Yes, so, okay. I'm a college dropout. Can I get DevOps job after completing this course? Of course you can. Of course you have to work a little bit hard, but you can get that. Okay, so far so good. Let me know in the comment section. Okay, okay, all right. I want everyone in the comment section. All good so far? And yes, you'll be getting this video as well so that we can have a discussion. And this is going to clear a lot of your basics. We have just got started. This is some of the juiciest meat info about the DevOps you are going to learn. Okay, yes. Did you receive our comment, sir? Yes, Parth, I'm able to see it. Avirup. All right, all good. Okay, should I continue? Okay. Will we get this material after lecture? Of course, you will get this material after lecture. Will we get certificate for this course? Of course. I can understand automation. I haven't talked about automation yet. I'm just talking about. Okay. Where do find pinned comment? Pinned comment is just for the course. You are already into Zoom ID. That means you already have the course. You don't need to worry about that. Do we have community for DevOps like WhatsApp? No, we don't have. Okay, don't take job placement. Flow is broken. Yeah, actually flow is broken. So we need to actually continue the flow, and let me just go ahead and continue with that. All right. So let's go up and continue this further. Okay, I hope the measurement is clear. The whole idea behind the measurement out of the camps. Can you tell me in the comment section what was C for? In the camps, what was C for? C was for culture. Great. Then was A. A was for automation. Yep, nice. So culture, talk to your team. Automation means whatever the automation you are doing, it should be consistent, and try to prefer having automation. That is all I said. I didn't told you how to do automation. I'm just telling you, you need to focus on this. That's it. These are the words that I'm introducing you right now. Okay, the next one is measurement. Means whatever you are doing, whatever activities you are doing, just measure those activities. And also not just measure the activities of your servers and infrastructure, measure about your development team as well. Are they comfortable? Are they able to push updates faster? These are all the things you need to measure. Last but not the least, which is sharing. Now, this is the most important part of it. See, sharing the goal. We need to make sure that all of our team understand that our goal, our role is to ship software faster. All of us are on the same page. Nobody is against on that. Okay. Yes, Adil, I'll come back onto the revision class and stuff in a minute. Don't you worry. And the recordings will be available to you. Okay. So the sharing part is important simply because no matter how hard you try, your website will go down. Your product will go down. Your software will go down. There is unavoidable case that it will never ever happen. Let's be on the realistic ground that it will happen. Your website will go down. We have tried our best on variety of occasions. It doesn't really happen. So first thing about the sharing is share the goal. And the second thing is share responsibility, share ownership. Whenever there is an incident that happens, please don't use any scapegoat. Hey, because of this intern happened, because of this new developer, it happened. Make sure instead of doing that, we use a feedback loop, like why it happened and how we can avoid that in the future. That is the mindset of all the DevOps engineer that should have. Okay, Kaushik says, hi sir, you are able to see my message? Yes, I'm able to see your message. Yes, I'm able to see all of your messages. Okay, right now I'm just going through with the basics. There is no discussion about AWS. There is no discussion. There is no discussion regarding AWS, nothing. Okay, I probably need to take some people live and discuss these things. Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and get them first. Hi, Inder. Can you unmute yourself? Hi, Inder. Can you speak?
Yeah, actually, I'm not able to see any pinned comment. Hi, Tesh.
There is no pinned comment. You are into Zoom, no?
Yeah, okay. You were saying that there is a
Pinned
pinned
comment
comment.
is for YouTube people who are watching on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
The pinned comment is for the class link. Do you need
Oh,
a class link? I can send you.
yeah, obviously.
You need class link.
No, no, I am on the Zoom. I am on the Zoom.
Yeah, so you know
So I
it. So
don't, yeah,
yeah, so
I
should we
don't.
continue?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Anybody else who is having an issue with so far what we have learned, or can we continue? A lot of people are raising hands, so I need to take them. Hi, Naveen.
I'm okay with the suddenly it came. Sorry.
I saw your raised hand. That's why.
Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? You can lower down your hands or we can continue if you want to ask something. I'm pretty sure there is something really important. So we need to discuss that. All right. Hi, Harsha.
Hi. Actually, Hitesh, you are saying that there are comments, right? So is it somewhere we need to check, or is it just a chat
Only
window?
I can see it.
Okay. I thought there are some discussions through comments, so I thought, is it
No.
available?
There is no point of you sending comments to other people who are also learning. So only I can resolve the queries now. So
Okay.
I need
Because
to check
I
them.
chatted in this chat window, so I thought
Yeah, in
whether
the chat window, I can see it. I can see all of the people who are sending the chat.
Okay, sure. Yeah, thanks.
All right. Okay, next up, I can still see a lot of raised hand. Can we continue or should I still? Okay, you can raise the hand or you can lower down your hand if we can continue, or we can still spend the entire day here just answering these questions. Your time. Hi, Naved Khan.
Hello, sir. Nice to hear with you. I have multiple questions, not question, but the concerns. Like, am I able to? Okay, by the way, I'm not a DevOps guy. I'm a Java developer and some experience in blockchain, but I'm not. I'm totally new in DevOps. So first question is that is it add value in my curriculum? My first question is that, and second one is do I when I go through multiple vacancies, they require several.
See, I told you we can do the Q&A session after the class. If we are going to do the Q&A session, we will never be able to finish even a single topic. All your concern, I have already discussed them in the induction class as well, and we can do such Q&A later on. I'm just looking forward if there is anything important that you have missed so far what I have teach, otherwise it is breaking the flow.
Okay.
Because there are other people, I value their time so much.
Okay. No, I have not any questions.
All right. So I know you might be having some of the discussion and questions. So this is breaking the flow. I think we should be focusing on first understanding the terms because remember, sometimes in the live class, I take questions as well, but this is not good. I still see a lot of raised hand. Can you please lower all your hands if there is something seriously important, because this is getting streamed on YouTube as well. And the people will be seeing that how the class actually runs, how we teach DevOps and stuff. If there is important, I have no worries. I can take you live. I can still see there are two people raising the hand. Let's see. Hi, Aman. What is the important stuff?
Hello, sir.
Yes. What is it?
So, what is automation exactly?
Automation means simply when you want to automate the things. For example, let's just say there is an update in your system.
Okay.
You all the time go ahead and click update, or you run the command sudo apt-get update and update. But there can be an automation like roll out this update automatically Tuesday 7 p.m.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And there can be automation such as every time this application comes up, we need a server which is going to have 2 GB of RAM and 15 GB of space. But every time you are spinning that machine, going into the panel, clicking on that, but you can actually write small line of code, not even just code, instructions, and that will automatically do it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, sir, thank you.
See, such good question. I love it because he didn't understood what is automation. Absolutely loving it. It gets more clarity added. But again, if a lot of raised hands are there. Hi, Vicky.
Hello, sir.
Yes, tell me what is.
Sir, actually, I'm not getting that what DevOps actually is. It is a kind of software or things, or just it is like a methodology that would be
That you will be
implemented
able
by
to
DevOps.
understand at the end of this session, because that is why I'm having it. If you are going to ask me what is DevOps, that is why I'm not asking you to install Linux or anything, because unless you understand what is actually the DevOps, you will never be thriving into the DevOps community.
No, sir. Actually, my doubt is, is it a methodology or it is what?
When did you join the class? From the starting?
Yes, sir. From the starting.
Ah, man, probably let's talk after this class, okay?
Okay, sir. Sure. Thank you.
it's my humble request to everyone, let's please lower down your hand and we will have the Q&A session after the class. If you can listen to this closely, and humble request, please lower all your hands and we'll discuss all of this after the class. We will stream your question to everyone as well, so that if everybody is having. Humble request, even Ajay, Ridzi, my humble request, please lower your hand. Let me continue. Ridzi says my question is different. He is not ready to lower down the hand. Yes, Ridzi.
I'm she, sorry for that. Okay, Hitesh, my question is only that as you are talking and we are making the notes. So my question is, because I will either miss it, I am listening you all, I'm making it, should I make the notes, or definitely recording we will get, but we will getting the any material also, or after?
This entire PPT and everything that is, I'll give you that, but there is no match for your own handwritten notes.
So should we make along with it what you suggest? That is the reason I didn't lower the hand. I do respect what you suggest.
I would say that make notes along with the class.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Can we continue? Let me know in the comment section. Can we continue? Okay, just quickly summarizing the stuff. We have learned that DevOps is not just about automation and stuff. We have gone through with that. We know that how we are bringing all the teams together. Rajesh, I can see your hand, but I'm not going to answer your question. So sorry for that. The questions will come up in the end of the class because you are just one person. Right now, there are other people who need to have that. Ajay Prasad, definitely I'll note down your email. We'll have a discussion later on. And again, so please, rather, let's make it professional. There are people who are spending their valuable time here. Let's be honest on that. Let's value other people's time. Okay. And then we'll come back. Then we discussed about what is DevOps. It's moreover about bringing the team together. We talked about the core values, the core ideas and methods. Once we understand them, then we can follow the practices and the tools, and we are bringing a DevOps. There is no official definition, and it's more about shipping the software faster. We also discussed briefly about how Agile works, and this is more of the Agile. This is waterfall. This is not waterfall. This is not Agile, but rather DevOps is something which includes not just the software and shipping the software, but also how the infrastructure is going to work through. That is what we are discussing in that. Okay, all right. So far so good. We have also understand that how the sharing works, the sharing mindset in the DevOps works. There is no scapegoat. We look forward in the DevOps world. We always look for the share responsibility and share ownership. That is how we look forward. All right. Can we merge Agile and DevOps? It is usually merged. DevOps actually follow it's not a perfect word, but I can say the DevOps is actually Agile on steroids, or a larger version of the Agile, where you not only just include fast shipping, but you also include infrastructure that helps in shipping the software fast. Okay, all right, Uttam, nice one, nice get that. Okay, now there is a little bit more that you should make the notes. When you implement DevOps in any organization, there are 3 ways how actually you do it. Okay. 3 ways how you can do it. New definition, Agile on steroid. Yeah, kind of say. Okay. Now, whenever you actually implement DevOps in any organization or new organization, you can actually do it in 3 ways. So there are 3 ways how you implement that. Usually what happens is your organization works in the flow thinking. So the flow is usually like there are developers and there are operation teams. The operation team is somebody who is managing the servers. So there is a Linux server on AWS, on GCP, whatever is your favorite cloud, there is some server. And there are some developers who says, hey, I have this code on Git. This is the branch that we have pushed, and ping them on the Slack or Discord that, hey, now please release this software in the world. And DevOps team says, I don't have a release cycle right now. I simply am saying that, hey, I need my updates are pending. My database needs to be updated. Your software will ship next week. And that is where the pinpoint or the pain point comes up, because this communication that I'm showing you, the release cycle means nobody released the software. It's not an HTML website that you save it and it gets updated. Release cycle means whenever a feature is being designed in Paytm or any app, it's not like next day it can go out. I have even seen a lot of security people reporting that, hey, we have reported a bug, and for last 3 days, you have not fixed it. Because in the production, when a lot of team are working, they package a software and the ship happens of the in a release cycle. That release cycle might be every week, every 15 days, every 30 days. Okay. So this is how it works. But what happens is usually the organization works like this. Developer just ship it to the operation team. I have no idea what is happening. No communication. They just get the date. It will be shipped by the 30th of the January, whatever that date is. And that's all it happens. But this is the flow thinking. That is, there are three ways. I told you in the organization, you implement the DevOps by three ways. This is the way which is not recommended. That is not how anybody use. Then there is another way, which is amplify feedback. And yes, these are questions. When somebody says, hey, I'm not getting a job in the DevOps fresher, because DevOps is supposed to know these all mindset, these all terminologies. So the second is amplify feedback. So in that, what happens is operation teams explain the developers that, hey, I know you have given us these software features, and there is a new button which does this magical stuff in our app or in our software, or just process the data, whatever that feature is. They says, hey, we cannot ship it right now because right now there is an update going on in our servers, and this update was already scheduled, so we cannot override that. That way, actually, your team understands it better. And the third way, which is a little bit risky way, a lot of organizations don't like it, which is experiment and learn. In that, you introduce a lot of new tools in the company, a lot of things happen. So yeah, so these are the three major ways. I hope you get that. The first one is flow thinking, which is usually already happening. The second one is amplify feedback. And the third one is experiment and learn. Okay. Usually the second way of implementing the DevOps in any organization actually works. All right. Okay, so far so clear? So does it mean DevOps and DevSecOps are almost similar? Man, come on, we will discuss these questions. I haven't even talked about security and stuff. Can you explain it once more? Yep, can you explain step one? Okay, sure. So what happens is there are three ways how we implement DevOps. The first one is already happening. It's not like DevOps is something new. We are already shipping the software, but this is happening with the flow thinking, just one-way flow. This is how it is going on. In this, your developers just ship the code to a branch and call it a day. All its tests have been run successfully. They call it a day. That is the step one, which is already happening. Where we want to move is amplify feedback, where your feedback comes from your operation team as well. Can MLOps be waved into this one? Come on, man. You are, Samarth, you are going way ahead of yourself. See, one small recommendation I would love to give you is, as I say in all of my classes, it is so much easier to paint an empty canvas. But if you are already having a canvas which is half painted out, there is no way I can make a beautiful painting on that. And right now there are a lot of people who are coming up with an automated painting on their canvas. I have no way of addressing them. Make sure you are an empty canvas. That's why you are going to get knowledge in you. The cup is already full, my friend. The cup is already full. I cannot pour in more knowledge into that. Yeah, pip purge, pip cache purge. You need to pip that out. All your fancy terms, DevSecOps, MLOps, AIOps, we don't need to talk about them right now. You are just crashing your entire knowledge game. Okay, so this is the second way of amplifying the feedback. And the third way is experiment and learn. In the experiment and learn, what happens is it's a really risky way because you introduce new tools. You introduce, let's just say you heard about Pulumi and you want to say, hey, in this next ship, I want to introduce this new tool. Yes, there are more failure chances in that, but you learn a lot along with that and you figure out what is good, what is not good. Okay, so I think that is all clear, just a little bit good. So a lot of time what I have noticed is in the DevOps world, a lot of people analyze and too much analysis. There is a term coined in one of the conferences, if I remember, which was saying analysis paralysis. So what happened in that is when people analyze too much, they get paralyzed. They don't want to use it. So don't hesitate to add things into your workflow. It might break things sometimes, but that's okay. We are engineers. We learn things by having bugs. We learn by introducing these things. So yes, especially in the test environment, maybe in the staging environment, or maybe in the dirty networks where you don't care what is happening. So in that case, you can actually go ahead and use that. Okay, so analysis is good, but don't do too much of the thorough analysis that you actually cramp yourself that, hey, this is all going to be good. Okay, Let me summarize all of this in one slide. Yes, I have already written the summary of this one. So big overview to remember. Yes, this is going to give you a lot more idea of how things are happening, what is happening. So always remember people over process over tool. This is something that you should always keep in heart. That is always should be there. Can you write all in the comment section? The first thing we have to remember, people over process over tools. So this is the core, heart and foundation. People over process over tool. Okay, all right. The second one is continuous delivery. The third one is lean management. And the fourth one is infrastructure as a code. These are the things you have to remember. Yes, CAMs sometimes may be asked in the interview. You might want to just remember it. There are 3 ways of implementing the DevOps according to the guidelines. There are guidelines, specifications, specimens of how Agile works and all of that. Okay. So what happens? Let me discuss them briefly, what it is and all of that so that you get a brief idea. These are not fancy terms. These are just pure English. That's all it is. The first one is always remember people over process over code. We have already gone through it. Always remember the idea behind DevOps is continuous delivery. No, it is not a software. It is just a pure English term which says continuous delivery. We want to ship a product as quickly as possible, as many times as possible. That is the idea behind the DevOps. When we are shipping as many times as possible, we are shipping in a small batches. So if any problem comes up, it doesn't affect all the users. It affects only handful of the users. And that is the way how we can roll back if some problem comes up. So that is what it means by continuous delivery. And DevOps highly support the continuous delivery mechanism that ship as much as possible. Can you please explain infrastructure as code in layman terms? Sure. Let me first complete the lean management. There is one, again, fancy terms. You don't need to worry too much about that. What DevOps says is lean management. That means you don't need to have a separate management for the developers, for the operations, for the testers, for the network guys. Try to lean up your management as much as possible. Try to shrink it down as much as possible. So you don't have to take extra management or extra reporting from the operations separately and developers separately. Try to bring them together, have one management so that your developers and your operation are in sync, and they can actually talk to each other and talk to the same management. So there are less conflict of interest. Okay, I hope this clears the lean management theory, which DevOps actually portray in a lot of books. Okay, so yes, so there is no need of separate management. That's all it says. Okay, let me know in the comments if you are able to get this one. Pretty easy that we are able to get this one. Minimum reporting, maximum throughput. Yeah, great analogy there. Okay, got so far? Okay, now let's talk about infrastructure as a code. First, let me explain to those people who don't know. By the term infrastructure, it's just a fancy name. We developers love to give fancy name to everything, and that's what we have done here. Infrastructure is nothing, it's just a machine. It just is a cloud machine. These days, cloud is famous. Otherwise, it could be a rack in your in-house as well. It could be a server just lying here. So it is a computer. That's all. That is your infrastructure. There might be 2 computers. There might be 200 computers. Right now, I'm not able to actually make these computers up and running. So I borrow these computers from the great guy, Jeff Bezos, which is the founder of Amazon, AWS. So that is your infrastructure. And again, there might be a lot of people. So I need some kind of a management tool in between or a software in between so that my all load doesn't go to just one computer. It is distributed equally between one computer to second computer. That is your load balancer. So all these things are infrastructure. And if you are able to make sure your infrastructure or your computers are up and running with just some set of code or some instruction, that is infrastructure as a code. This is a new tech. Earlier, we used to go into the cloud system, spin up the machine, make it up and running, make it public IP, configure the DNS, go manually do one by one, click, paste, copy, paste. Now you can just write all of them in just one file. And that is also a manifest file. It's not too much of a heavy code. You just copy, paste the code from the documentation, make modification, it does all the thing. That is your infrastructure as a code. Okay, so yeah, bash script is done. Okay, I hope this is so far all good. Okay, let me know in the comments, all good. I will not be taking any question right now, just the question from the comment or the chat section. And then I'll be taking separately all of your questions one by one. Don't you worry, I will answer. As the great Zakir Khan says, bhai aaya, bata ke jayega. So don't you worry on that part. So all good. Okay, so nicely. Okay, can we move forward? No, that's not it for today's class. We have still, this is nothing. I haven't studied anything yet. Come on, sit with me. Yes, Anmol, I'm able to see your messages. Okay, okay. One more thing. Yes, I'll give you this presentation. Don't you worry, I'll give you this presentation. Just one thing I want to talk about: tools. See, in DevOps, yes, Janelle, I'm able to see your messages. Okay, tools. I just want to mention one thing about the tool, Hotstar case study. And this is the link of the Hotstar case study. I would highly recommend to go and watch this video. I earlier shared it on a couple of my social media. Earlier, this talk was having just 5,000, 6,000 views. After I shared it, it moved on to 3 lakh views or something. This is a perfect example of why you should not focus on the tool. I repeat again, this is something which, and again, you don't need to actually watch it right now. If you'll watch it right now, you'll break the flow. You should not be watching it right now. Yes, I can give it to you in the chat as well, so no problem at all. This is a simple. Yes, I can give it to you, but again, you should not be watching it right now. We'll give you the PPT and I'll show you where that is. Don't you worry. Right now, nobody has asked me, why are you sharing this talk? What's so important about it? What's so important about this talk? Nobody asked me. Everybody just went busy in, hey, I want to watch that video. I want to watch that video. But nobody asked me, hey, Tesh, why did you introduce this video? Yeah, so it's about the cricket match. But no, this is not about cricket match. Dhoni came and left. No, nothing about that. This is not about, yes, this was just 25 million. Hotstar now manages 75, like, I don't know, God knows what, how many millions they manage. But this is not about it. This is not going to be your interview question. Infrastructure test management, load management, no, nothing like that. This talk, if you understand that thing, you are never going to understand what DevOps is. What went wrong with Hotstar? Come on, man. No, not about that. Anybody in the YouTube stream chat? Why this chat is important? Oh man, nobody. Management? No, nothing like that. Load balancing, nothing. Scales, tools, never. Nothing, man, nothing. Let me tell you now. Don't chat. Stay for a minute. Let me tell you why this talk is so much important. Okay, let me come back. This talk is important because if you'll watch through this entire talk, of course, there are a lot of great input being given by the person who is giving the talk. There is great insight in that. You can actually go ahead and learn that. It's not about the concurrent stream. It's not about when the Dhoni goes out, how they scale down the server. No, nothing like that. The thing why this talk is under the tools banner that I'm giving you is simply because of one and only one reason. When the Hotstar team wanted to scale up their infrastructure or scale down that infrastructure, they actually wanted to monitor one specific parameter. And based on that parameter, they wanted to lower down their infrastructure or scale up their infrastructure, means number of computers that are spinned up. And that parameter was not present in AWS. So they wrote their entire tool in-house to monitor that parameter. Remember, measurement comes here, culture comes here, automation comes here, and sharing also comes here. So they wrote their tool through the AWS APIs that I want to monitor this particular stats, and based on that, I want to scale up and scale down. And that is the most important part of this tool. Everybody just shine about tools, give me load balancer, give me Pulumi, give me infrastructure, give me Kubernetes, give me Dockers, but nothing worked there. What is that parameter? That you can find out in the talk itself. The parameter is not important. The important part is they were not able to find that parameter. And the problem that you will be solving as a DevOps, probably that problem is not being solved by the tool. So you might have to introduce another tool, or you might have to make your own tool. It's not your job, of course. It's the job of the developers that are in your company, but you have to tell them, I want to monitor this parameter. I'm not able to do it. I'm not skilled into the programming that much. So I'm a DevOps engineer. So the programmers will help you in that case. Okay, I hope that's the most important thing. This shows people over tool. Yes, exactly, Adil. That is your job. And that is why I say people over process over tools. So all the things that I have taught you so far, now it is coming into a real life case study. That tools are not a such thing. Got the logic? How this is being done? People over process over tools. And this also CAMS, culture, automation. What is M? Culture, automation, measurement. So they were measuring a tool to monitor the performance. And what is the S? Sharing, because Hotstar went down. There was no blame game. They thought that how we can avoid it in the future. So there was no scapegoat. They were sharing it and constantly tweeting out, yes, we got down. There was so much of the traffic. So yes, I'll bring a lot of such case studies in the future as well, but I think this is what you got. Okay, so far so good. Everybody clear so far? Should we move on? Okay, there's a little bit more that I will study and discuss with you. Okay, IT divide. Yes, there is a common divide in IT. Okay, this is the problem statement. This is the problem statement that we have. Developers want to deliver features fast and deploy them quickly. That is the goal. And in fact, when I was totally purely a developer, that was my goal. I want to build the feature and ship it tomorrow. As soon as the tester sets it go, I would want to ship it tomorrow. That is my goal. And the incentive of operation team is that they want system to be stable and uptime. Most important thing for them is not shipping the feature. The most important thing for them is that the system should be available all the time. And let's just say I'm shipping a feature which is going to make some changes in the tables of the databases. They obviously might have to pull down the database for some minutes and then have to go. What is uptime? Uptime is simply as long as your website is available. For example, you are visiting Google or you are using Zoom. You would not be happy if the Google is down for 15 minutes. You would not be happy during the Amazon sale if the Amazon is down for 15 minutes. So that is your uptime, how long the website is up. So the job of operation team is to make their website as good as possible and as up as possible. But the job of developers is to simply get up the features as quickly as possible. So we need to bring them together, otherwise DevOps doesn't work. Okay, so let me introduce now some of the terminologies and how this is going on. Before that, a quick overview. Blameless postmortems. And again, fancy word of saying that, hey, whenever website goes down, don't blame interns. Although we do. Sorry for that, but we do. No worries on that part. But try to do blameless postmortem and try to avoid that in the future. Transparent downtime, that is also good, that accept that yes, we goes down. Integrate the team. DevOps is not just for saying devs and ops. Bring those team together. Learn what is happening in the development world. Learns also happens what in the operation team. That is how you are able to bring the DevOps culture. And yes, we can say it's DevOps is an extension of Agile or Agile on steroids or Agile that also includes how the server is going to be managed, a little bit like that. And then we have this last one, which is infrastructure as a code. Git for ops is an example. And by the way, in case those who don't know what is Git, Git is a version controlling system. Shubhendu says, what is downtime? Downtime is when website is not available. Really simple. Okay, so this is all what I wanted to learn. And I think now you can understand what is happening with this classic diagram that you have seen all around. Have you, let me know in the comments, how many have you seen this diagram that is going on? Have you seen this diagram? Yes, seen it. But are you able to understand it now? That why we always write these things, build, test, plan, code. This is the dev side, but release is actually merging in the dev side. And then we have deploy, operate, monitor. And this also is being given as a feedback to the developer. So that is why this classic, again, we are not the owner of this logo. We haven't created it. I have taken it from the Google. And again, everybody, I guess, takes it. But I'm pretty sure somebody might have coined this one. So this is the diagram. This is the infinite process that happens. And there is nothing explainable about this diagram. If you ask me, explain this diagram, this is the same I have been doing from last 1 hour. I think this diagrams makes much more sense. Okay, it shows continuity. Absolutely. 100%. Nice, Kushal. This is what it is. This shows the continuity. Okay, now it is relating. Now, I have already noticed, in fact, I have already made up my mind that this session is not going to make sense to some of the people who are coming from a non-tech background. So they don't know what are these terms. So now bringing those people up, that how we can actually explain them these terms. And don't worry, we will have the doubt session as well. There will be email coming to you, and of course email will not come to YouTubers, all those people, because this is the only live stream we are doing on the YouTube, because I thought this is an important thing. It will give more clarity to everyone, and such knowledge should go out. Rest of the videos are not going to stream on YouTube. And in the pinned comment, you can check in case you are interested in joining the class. You can join. If not, that is also okay. Okay. Now coming back. No, this is not. Will there be doubt session today? Yes, there will be doubt session. Now, what I want to introduce is, what should I introduce next? I am not in live chat, Hitesh. Venkata, you are in live chat. I can see your chat. Terms. Yes, there are lots of fancy terms, and you can throw around some terms at me in the chat section as well. I will try my best to actually explain these terms, because throughout the DevOps, you will be hearing me these terms. And there is nothing to shy around. If you don't understand what is uptime, if you don't understand what is downtime, it is okay. I was also at one point of time at that place. I couldn't understand those terms, and you don't need to worry. I will explain everything. So again, just don't ask me what is something like what is computer, what is database. Please don't ask that. It would be difficult for me to explain, but I'll still try my best. These are some of the terms. We'll go through with that. Okay. So I hope this is all good. Okay, please don't ask me CI/CD pipelines and stuff. Yes, I'll explain that. First, let me go through with all the terms so that whatever I have prepared through my mind, I can actually explain that. And then you can ask me whatever that is. I'll try my best to explain. Okay, good so far. Let me give me a thumbs up if you are up here, or just write yes so that we can continue this. Okay, all right, all good, all good. A lot of yes. Still, I can see a lot of people raised continuously their hands, don't even want to listen to me, just continuously raising their hands. Let's first finish this. I will have the doubt session. So no worries on that part. And even we will have the this doubt session after this class in the weekdays as well. One day will be allotted that this is the day where you can actually come and ask all your questions personally to the mentor as well. Don't you worry. And again, whenever you are learning something new, it feels like I'm a fool. I don't know anything. Yes, it happens to me as well. So it's okay to feel like I don't know anything. Will I be able to survive this or not? It's okay. It's okay to feel like that. Okay. The first jargon or first keyword that everybody should know about is provisioning, because everybody throws this word like anything. Thumbs up. Sorry, can't find emoji. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Anybody knows what is provisioning? Okay, I will explain it in the absolute layman terms. What is provisioning? Okay, provisioning is server is ready with OS, software, and networking. That is it. So what happens is, let's just say you have borrowed a computer from Jeff Bezos or maybe Sundar Pichai. So somewhere in the cloud, the computer is there. But just because they have given you a computer, you cannot actually make your website up and running in that, or make your backend up and running on that. Because let's just say you are building your website in Java, or maybe you are building it in Node.js. There needs to be some software installed onto that. And in order to install that software, there needs to be an OS on that. That might be Ubuntu or CentOS, Pop OS, whatever feels good to you. So whenever we say use this fancy word of provisioning, that simply means to say we have rented out a server and we have made it equipped. The server is ready with OS. All the softwares are installed, and whatever the networking you want, that this port should be open, this port should be closed, all of the things are done. So whenever I say infrastructure provisioning, that means computers are now ready. Okay, really fancy term, really fancy. You will be laughing a lot onto this one. Yeah, so very fancy term. Yes, Ashish, Puneet, yeah. So I hope this is now very easy to understand. Whenever somebody says, oh, provisioning, yeah, I know your fancy words, but all it says is, computer is now ready. All right, ready for the next term? Should I go for the next one? Okay, next one. This one is all clear? All right, awesome. You guys are learning fast. Okay, next crazy word is deployment. Yes, this is again a fancy word. Okay, deployment. Deployment. What is this deployment? You will hear this a lot. In fact, you will be working as a DevOps. You will be using deployment a lot. It's just nothing. It is just adding your server to the software, adding your software to the server. So what happens is you write your code onto your desktop or your laptop, and you obviously want to ship that code onto Jeff Bezos' machine or Sundar Pichai's machine so that entire world can actually use that. And that might be your app, that might be anything. So whenever you even push your app to the app store, it says we have deployed our app. Whenever we say, hey, we have actually written this nice HTML website and now we want to show it to the world, that we say as we have deployed this on our servers so that it is available to that. So yes, I agree. Deployment, yes, Sunny, deployment is a fancy word, but all we are saying is we have moved our code from local machine to a cloud infrastructure or wherever that infrastructure is. Might be Linode, might be DigitalOcean, whatever that is, whatever the fancy organization you have chosen. Okay. The next one, orchestration. Another one, really fancy. Anybody? Orchestration. Yeah, this is again a crazy world. Okay, let me just give you some context before understanding the orchestration. Okay, should I give some context so that you can understand it? Just let me know in the comments, or you know about it, or should I skip it? Okay, orchestration. Okay, so let's just say you have made a good website and that website is being loved by people. And there are probably now, let's just start small. There are 1,000 people who want to visit your website. And you say 1,000 people is too big. It's not really good. So you want to spin up 2 machines now, or you want to provision 2 machines. We can use the fancy words now. We now know it. So we are provisioning 2 servers. Okay, so 500 crowd will go on one server, 500 crowd will go on another server. So we have provisioned 2 servers. But the problem with that is how we are going to manage these 2 servers. Obviously, there will be updates. Who will be seeking that, these are all the time or not? Do I need to, and whenever a new update comes up, I need to push the update in both of these provisioned servers. Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. So it's not about just monitoring the code. It's also about managing those servers as well. So the word orchestration simply means coordinated operation on multiple systems. Okay, got it so far? No, it doesn't mean scaling. It doesn't mean scaling. See, I told you, your canvas is half painted. I cannot put a painting on a half painted canvas. Okay, let me explain this one more time. Let's just say you have made a great website and that great website is being loved by people. Now there are 1,000 people coming up, but your one server that you have provisioned, that server can handle 500 user only. So you thought that, hey, we should be taking 2 servers or we should provision 2 servers. So you have provisioned 2 servers, but don't you think those servers are going to get OS updates? Don't you think those servers are going to get security updates? Yes, those servers are going to get. So we need some system that can actually update those internal systems with their operating system updates, their security updates, or any other updates that are coming in. So orchestration is the tool, or orchestration is simply a simple jargon used by developers that says, hey, when there are multiple servers or multiple system or multiple anything, when we need a coordination system between them, then we call it as orchestration. And if these terms are not clear, I'm pretty sure all of you have heard about Kubernetes. I'm pretty sure in the comments, because told you Kubernetes you have heard because your canvas is already half painted. You know Kubernetes, but you don't know orchestration. And until unless you have no idea about what is orchestration and what does these terms means, you will never be thriving into the world of DevOps. So Kubernetes is nothing, it's an orchestration tools. A lot of container spins and they monitor these containers. That's all the Kubernetes does. Yeah, it's an orchestration tool, and there are so many orchestration tools. Okay, so far so good. So now we have learned about at least 3 fancy terms. The first one is provision, the second one is deployment, the third one is orchestration. Yeah, so many fancy terms. Even we have more. We have more. It's not like this is all. We have a lot more fancy terms. Docker can be considered as orchestration tool. No, Docker is not orchestration tool. Kubernetes is an orchestration tool. Does Kubernetes maintain 5 different servers or 5 different containers? Akash says yes, Kubernetes maintain 5 different containers. No, it doesn't. Okay. I think we should move forward. Okay, more fancy terms. Another one, configuration management. Okay, can anybody discuss this? Configuration management? Okay, configuration management. Okay, so let me give you an example of what configuration management is. So let's just say you have created a software, but now you need a configuration for server. You don't want to every time hit the bar that it should be 2 GB RAM or it should be 20 GB RAM or something like that. You want to create a file, and through that file, automatically it spins up those servers wherever all the dependencies are there. Yeah, it's almost like kind of a driver. It's just a simple file which mentions all the configuration. And I hope I don't need to explain configuration. Configuration is not a fancy term. You see your configuration of your phone every single time. That is the same configuration. So configuration should not be something that you should be asking me. Okay, so far so good. Should I move to next one? Configuration management. Yes, configuration management means managing all the configuration files. Really simple. Nothing worried about. Okay, now comes up the 2 important things. The first one is imperative. You will hear this, procedural. You might have heard about procedural programming languages or imperative approach. Yes, this will come. This will come as a DevOps. You don't become a DevOps engineer directly by learning YAML, or you're not learning about them via the Docker or the Linux. Everybody can learn that, no problem at all. But those who don't understand the terms will never be thriving into the world of DevOps. And I want everybody to thrive into the world of DevOps. Okay. It's a command to produce desired state. Yes, there could be a lot more meaning of imperative, but what I'm trying to give you a definition as close as possible that you'll be using in DevOps world. This is what we call fundamental study. Yes, Aman, this is a fundamental study. And I always have believed your foundation fundamental should be really strong. So what happens is, let me first introduce you another jargon, then we'll have a comparison and you'll be able to understand this nicely. There is another known as declarative, and this means desired state is defined and tools will achieve it. Okay, so these are just opposite to each other and they are pretty easy to understand when you understand them both at the same time. So let's just say you are saying that in order to run my software, and software could be in Python, in JavaScript, in anything. In order to run my software, I need 5 computers. Each computer should have 5 GB of RAM and 20 GB of free space with a port 80 open in all 5 of them. Okay, got this one so far? So let's just say you have written a software, you have no idea what that software is, but in order to run this software, you need 5 machine, some X amount of RAM, Y amount of disk space, and port 80 should be open in all of them. What is port 80? Man, you don't know the computer ports? I think we need to go too much ground there. It could be port 80, it could be port 3000. Any port can be there. Don't get into the details of port. Come on, man, what are you doing? You are going into detail of that. So you got the requirement. This is the requirement that we have. Okay. Please explain ports. We'll explain the ports later on after this class. Right now, I'm not going to explain anything. I'm not going to take any of that. Okay, so I think you got this one. Now, in order to achieve this, there are two ways to achieve this scenario. 5 servers, X amount of RAM, Y amount of hard space, and X and Z port is open. There are two ways to achieve this. The first is imperative approach. The second is declarative approach. Imperative approach means you will write some commands that will achieve that. You will write some commands, or you will write some commands through which APIs of the AWS are being hit, and they will actually spin up all of this infrastructure for you. That is your first imperative approach. That means you are worried about writing your commands, and this will achieve that state. But there is another approach known as declarative approach, in which you say, hey, I need this infrastructure. Now, how you achieve it, not my problem. And one of the things that you have heard about, the Terraform, that is actually working on your declarative approach. And most tools, these are coming up in the DevOps these days. It is declarative approach. Declarative means it says, I want this state. Now, how you do it, I don't really care. You call APIs, you run code, you constantly run the code. I have no idea. I don't even want to know. All it's saying is that, hey, I want 5 server, X amount of RAM, Y amount of hard disk space, and Z port should be opened on that. That is all I'm saying. Declarative is result oriented. That means saying, I want this result. I don't really care how that is being achieved. In the imperative, you really are worried about how this is being achieved. You write step by step, step by step. Do this, then you will achieve this. Do this, then you'll achieve this. Do this, then you'll achieve this. Yes, client, that nice analogy, Tushar. A client is always declarative. It says, I want this to be achieved. I want this website to be there. So client is always declarative. Yes, this is nice. Ritesh says, is it possible when we are provisioning to server, if one goes down, we can have ops team transfer the user to server 1? Again, your canvas is painted, man. Can't do anything. Okay, so got this term so far? Let me know in the comments. And again, if you want to rewatch or anything, there will be videos available to it. We have more terms, we have more jargons, and the next jargon is going to really, because I'm pretty sure you will, whenever you will be learning and reading from the books, you'll find these jargons. There is no way to avoid them. You need these jargons, otherwise you will never be thriving into the DevOps world. Okay, let me know in the comments. Ready to explore another jargon which is even more fancier than what we have studied so far? All right, let me throw up another like crazy fancy English words. Okay, the next one is idempotent, but this time I'm not hiding them. I'm actually giving it all to you, but right now you don't need to focus on all of them. The focus should be on the first one of them. Idempotent. Okay, yes, this is fancy word being thrown around a lot in the DevOps world. That is why this class exists. Saksham wanted to take this class and wanted to start it with Linux, but I says, no, this is not going to happen. We need to explain all these examples and all of these first. You can Google it as well in case you want to. Why this guy is complicated? I don't know why they complicate it. This is what they do. All right. Yes, it was required. Okay, so what happens is idempotent means repeat execution and same result. Okay, let me give an example. Whenever you log in into any website, you always make the same login email and password and you get the account dashboard, same always. This means the APIs which we are hitting always gives the idempotent result. It doesn't give you my account. It doesn't give you Krish's account. It doesn't give you anything like that. So what does it mean? Idempotent means no matter how many times you are executing it, it is always giving you the same result. This is very important. Gaurav Maurya says blue-green. Come on, man. We are discussing something. You are somewhere else. Good for you. Good for you, Gaurav. We are somewhere else. Okay. So another example could be, let's just say in a file, in an infrastructure file, you have written that, hey, I need a server. Just a second. Okay. So let's just say we have gone through with it. Let's just say you have created an infrastructure file and you have written in your code that I need a server, or maybe I need 5 servers. Same example. We need 5 server, X amount of RAM, Y amount of space, and Z port should be opened on that. Okay. So far clear, this is the requirement. Now what is going to happen if your system is not idempotent? That means as many times as you're going to run that file, it is going to create 5 servers, 5 servers, 5 servers, 5 servers. So in total, if you run that 4 times, you'll be spinning up 20 servers. That should not happen. It should first look whether this file, whatever the requirement is, if it is already there, it should do nothing. And if it is not there, it should spin up the servers. Okay, got some example? Yes, as we'll go more of this, you will understand more about it. But I think idempotent, you have gone through it. I couldn't explain it much more better. In case you missed that, obviously the recordings will be available to you. Got it? Okay. Now, another common term that you'll be hearing and listening, and don't worry, I'll recommend you some books of DevOps as well that I found really interesting. Before preparing this course, I was going through with a lot of books and stuff. I found this couple of these things. Yes, it seems like we are in a vocabulary class. Yeah, DevOps vocab. Blue-green deployment. Okay, so what happens is, books really not fan of it. I'm a fan of books. What can I say? Okay, let's try to finish lecture on time. I'll try my best. The second is blue-green deployment. This is a common deployment practice in the world of DevOps. So what happens in that is there are 2 servers here, and your main production server and all of your traffic is pointed here. And what happens is whenever there is a new update, the new update always shifts onto this server. So every traffic is pointed on this, but new updates is being shifted onto this server. And they are of equal configuration. It's not like this is a staging server, this is a low capacity server. Both of them are having equal amount of capacity, traffic handling situation and all of that. One called blue, one called green. Anyone you can call anything. Okay, so what happens is whenever a new updates are being pushed, this server, people are already visiting this server. So they go ahead and push all the updates onto this server. And as soon as they are completely relied, okay, so everything is working fine, internal team verifies that all the features are working, they immediately point from here to here. And now this becomes the main server. And this makes 100% uptime. Almost 100%, because immediately the traffic is switched here. And now this server becomes free. So whenever a new update is going to come up, we'll push it here. Yep, this is done. This is like, you can call it like almost like staging, but it's equally powerful. In the staging, we use a small server with almost like same result, low powerful. But yeah, this is what happens. This is how we deploy things. We do switching. Okay, so yeah, got it. Okay, now a couple of more jargons you might have heard about. If you are coming into the DevOps, I'm pretty sure you have heard about this one. Continuous integration. Continuous integration means build and unit test at every check-in. By the term check-in, I mean whenever you are pushing code to the Git, before pushing the code to the Git, you always are supposed to run all the checks. And these checks usually run on the system itself. That if the developers is running all the things on their laptop, this means CI, continuous integration. So you're always at point of time, you're checking whether all the code that you have newly written is actually working with that. It doesn't mean Jenkins, it doesn't mean Puppet, it doesn't mean anything else. Okay, got it so far? These are general terms, these are not software related terms. So continuous. So DevOps actually promotes a lot of continuous integration, that no matter what small amount of piece of code you have written, always checks its integrity and integration with the existing software. Similar to this, there is a continuous delivery. DevOps also support continuous delivery. That means in the batches, small batches, shipment should be released out to the viewers or your user of the software, so that in case there is any bug, any fix or something, we can just roll out a small rollback and have everything being fixed. And the last one is continuous deployment. Yes, DevOps also promotes a lot of continuous deployment, that if you are doing continuous integration, you are also doing continuous delivery, also do continuous deployment. That means in the small batches, push out your code to the end user so that in case everything is going on. Nikun says, why there is nobody in the chat box? There is nobody in the chat box because only I can see your chat, Nikunj. Nobody else can see it. You only send your chat to the host and panelist. We have a team usually here who tries to answer all of your questions, and that's how we go it. Okay, so I think this is all what I wanted to discuss. This PPT will be available to all the users who are enrolled in the course. Those who are not, you can watch it on YouTube, and that's it. Now I'll be taking some questions. Please ask your question very, very carefully. It should not be like a repetition. If the question is already being discussed, don't just waste people's time and my valuable time as well. If there is important, I will definitely answer that. If it is just repetition, I will ask you to just rewatch the video. The video recordings will be available to you. Okay, so we'll go through with that. And again, if there is anything that says, these are all basic concept. I haven't discussed DevOps. I haven't discussed, these are terminologies only. Okay, so I'll just one by one unmute yours to you and go for that. Yes, the lecture is actually over. Those who want to leave, they can actually leave. Those who want to sit back and watch the Q&A session, they can go ahead and watch it. We will have another Q&A session later on that we will have. So the lecture is officially over and we'll have it, but I'll still stream it so that we can see what all questions, because I can see a lot of raised hands and we'll go through them one by one. So all those who are asking any questions or something like that, we'll go through with that one by one. Please raise your hand only and only if there is some problem or some issues in that. Otherwise, and please make sure your name is written. Okay, so first, hey Khalid. Khalid, please, can you ask question? Come on, man. Okay, so no. Hi, Rajesh.
No.
No questions?
No.
All right, I saw your, please lower your hands in case you don't want to ask any question. Let me lower down all the hands of all the attendees, and then one by one you can raise the hand and make sure there is a question. And if there is a question, make sure it's a good one. Hi, Ritzi.
Hi, Hitesh. Thank you for the class.
Thank
I have a very simple question. This blue-green wala na, I have understood all the jargons except this. Because I was thinking, is it A/B testing? Is it one is going on, blue is going on?
No,
then
no, it's not A/B testing. In the A/B testing, half of your traffic is sent to one and another is sent to any. This is a production style, because I told you DevOps is not just a tool, it's a style of how you deploy things. And it's moreover like a environment that you try to build in your company.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, you actually are running two servers side by side.
Okay. And the same amount of load are being divided or equally?
No, it's not divided. It's just one server that is handling entire load, or maybe one environment which is handling the entire load. The server or computer was an example. There could be a load balancer behind it.
Okay. And maybe to give some rest to one server and then switching to that. Like that is the
That might
methodology.
also be the case, but as far as I have seen the deployment or what the deployment we have done, we usually go for a switching, just entirely immediate switch there.
But the benefits are to give the relaxation is a normal human language, but to give some rest to the tools and the environment so that.
No, nothing like that. Environment don't need rest. These are computers. They don't need rest.
So what is the benefit? There must be some methodology, na? They have invented this blue-green.
It actually makes a quick switch.
Acha.
It's just like immediately you are able to point it on another environment. That's it. And it's just like same environment. The testings are really good, because when you do testing onto these staging servers, sometimes in the high scale applications, these things are really not that great. So sometimes things happen.
Okay, okay. I guess in more time I will be getting, but thanks for again.
Yeah, this was just an overview of the entire class. So before you jump into that, you should be aware of the jargons. Because right now, this is the tough part. Understanding the jargon is the tough part in any language. And I like to nail it down in the very first class.
But I really like it. I really liked it the way you explained and I got it. So I'm feeling okay, fine. मुझे भी jargons आती है. If someone talk to me, I can talk in the same
Yeah,
language.
at least with this class now, you can sit with all the DevOps engineer and can say, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, so getting an education and presenting yourself, it's equally important, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Hi, Pawan.
Hi Hitesh, thanks for unmuting me. So I have a couple of questions that I
Sure.
would like you to be answered. So the first question is like that during the presentation you have said about something CloudWatch.
Yeah.
So is this CloudWatch a general term that is applicable to all the cloud services?
No,
or
CloudWatch is a specific tool that is given to us by AWS only. It's just a software to monitor what is happening in the cloud.
Okay.
There is a similar software in GCP as well. It's just a term that we throw around, developers, jargons.
Yeah. And the next question, what I have is like that, can we also say operations as installations or updates?
Yes, of course, you can say that. These are also a role of operations.
Okay. Yeah. So I just have these couple of questions that I would like to answer. And thanks for the class, because I'm very new to the DevOps, even though I have couple of years of experience with research oriented field, but still DevOps is something new to me. And I really like the approach in which you have actually taken the class forward.
Yeah, we from the tomorrow's class, we'll be going through with the installation part and all of that. So that will be much more fun, but because that is pure hands-on. And during our class, actually, there is no theoretical lecture. So I want to introduce some theory. That's why I actually jumped and took this class.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks once again.
All right. Okay. Next up is hi, Devesh. Oh, sorry. This one is flipping back and forth. So sorry. Okay. Hi, Devesh.
Hello.
Yes, please.
So I wanted to know, like, why do we have to create multiple servers when we can just upgrade the server to a more powerful version?
There are two types of scaling: horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. In the horizontal scaling, it's actually cheaper, because instead of creating one big gigantic server and he handles the entire load, what will happen if that server crashes?
Why will a server crash?
Server crashes all the time for some bad codes, maybe extra traffic. Server do crash. That is for sure, it will happen.
Okay.
There is a single point of failure that you are having. But if you have multiple of the servers, maybe not that big, but smaller configuration server, then if one server fails, you can redirect the load to the other 4.
Okay. And I also wanted to know if AWS Autoscale is like similar to the tool which Hotstar made.
Actually, when Hotstar made it, autoscaling was already available there.
Okay, then why did they make that then?
Actually, AWS autoscaling works on 3 or 4 parameters only. They check your CPU load or certain things. And Hotstar guys wanted to check something different from the computer, because there are lots of things in the computers. You can check memory, you can check CPU usage, you can check storage usage. There's a lot of parameters you can check. So AWS was having a load balancer at that time, and autoscaling was there, but they were not measuring that certain parameters that is mentioned in that talk.
Okay, understood now.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, next up. If somebody's question has been asked by the guy, so you can lower down your hand and it will save us time. Okay, so hi Mangesh.
Hello Hitesh. Audible?
Yes, you are audible, Mangesh.
Yeah, I'm having a couple of questions. So the first one is the blue-green deployment. So by the previous conversation, I got a little bit idea that each environment will have its own load balancer behind it. So what I thought before is, what happens if multiple servers are there, and how we will be
Yeah, that was
switching
just
between.
an analogy. I was trying to say one server versus another server. It could be entire environment. There could be also entire environment.
So each environment will have its own load balancer behind it,
Same.
right?
It could be same. It was just an analogy.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing is I'm a software developer. So I used to create the features and just switch it to the operation team, but I don't know exactly what the operation team does in a regular manner. But I know that you have given a lot of examples and things. But if you have any resources in order to study deeper, in order to understand the complete cycle behind it, that would be
You will be learning, not only learning, you will be doing the entire cycle now from the operation
Okay.
team as well in this course.
Okay, that's good. So the final one is it has been nurturing in my mind for a long time. So the first is revolving around the Hotstar. So why there is a delay of 5 minutes while live streaming? Why the team couldn't
That's a
able
compliance. That's a compliance. They cannot
Okay.
stream it immediately live. Betting live, how you win the streaming rights. There's a lot.
Okay, so it doesn't mean that technology cannot able to do it. It can be able to do it, but the complaints stop from it.
Compliance.
Do it.
There's a lot of things in the business world.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you. And the last one is, can you share a lot of resources because many of in this class want to even go in deeper by studying a lot of DevOps books.
I have a few
so-
books recommendation that I'll give you in the classes future. Most of them are orally books. So that's
Okay.
what I have actually used. So this is not something that I knew out of my head. Obviously, I have been consulting with a lot of books, a lot of talks that I had to watch, books, and then compiled all of these resources. So this is a myth usually with the YouTubers, that YouTubers knows everything. No, it's not. Like, I prepare my lectures, I work hard in them, collect resources,
Yeah.
and then compile the information. I'll refer you all the books in case you want to study about them.
Yeah, not only books, but also blogs and stuff too.
Sure. I'll share from wherever I'm taking this information. I'll share all of that. No worries.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I think a lot of questions I've answered, and there will be definitely a section or a session for you for having a Q&A session and all of that. A lot of people are raising the hand. I don't know why. We haven't discussed even that much. Hi, Umang.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
So I just want to the basic difference between, sir, continuous delivery and continuous deployment. I understood what the continuous integration is, but just want to know what is the basic difference between delivery and deployment. Because, sir, in delivery, we are just delivering our code to the production and making it live.
Delivery could be to the staging server also.
Okay.
Deployment is the final jargon that we use, that the code has reached to the end user.
Okay. It means that deployment means it's making it public.
Yep. But there could be other meaning of that. It's not hard thing that, hey, always use this word. It's just general convention.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Nalikant.
Yeah, hi. So I want to know about that idempotent. Yeah, so idempotent. So I want to some more. Description on
That's a crazy word, man. I completely feel you. Idempotency is a crazy word. It just simply try to understand that no matter how many times you actually run the things, it gives the same result. That's all. Just remember this much.
Yeah, so you told like if you will run one time, then there will be a 3 server, and again if you will run, then again that will create 3 requests.
Yeah, I was telling the scenarios. So the thing is, what is good? If you have written that I need 5 servers, this was this much configuration. So if every time your code runs, what is good for you? It should create instance without even thinking every single time, or should think that, hey, if it is already there, should I create it or not?
No. If it will create in 5 different server, then it will mostly take more time. So in spite of doing those 5 server, if it will go to one server and resolve the request, then it will be good.
Yeah, so that is all that word is. It's not, I'm not saying this software use it or this software doesn't use it. No worries on that. We are not discussing that. All we are saying is there is a word, there is a jargon that everybody loves to use.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Hitesh. Yeah.
All right, all right. Okay, a lot of, hi Sonali.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Sorry, I had a very silly questions.
Sure. No question is silly. Everything is fine.
Yeah, so I heard the discussion with the blue-green deployment, my very first question. What I understood is that basically, how did I took it is that whenever there is, load balancing is going on within lots of servers, within like 5 to 6 servers or whatever it is, the scenario is. So blue-green deployment make it quick to just switch from one to another.
Let me, before you finish your question, sorry for interrupting. Let me tell you, blue-green is one style of deployment. There are probably 5 or 6 different style of such deployment. There are staging servers, there are production servers, there are test, staging, and production servers. There are even DNS point switching. So that there is a canary, there is a rolling upgrade. There's a lot of fancy names.
Okay. So switching from one to another server, is that what blue-green help us to do? Is that understanding correct for me?
Yes, it is one of the way. It helps us sometimes to quickly switch. This is one of the way. It's not like this is the only way.
Okay. And second question I have is, you told us about imperative and declarative procedural things, right?
Yeah.
So you said declarative was obviously result oriented. It's like just like a client, and imperative is basically baby steps I can consider, right? Like small steps and just rechecking the previous step. Is it correct or not? And then moving forward.
Yes.
So
Yes.
which is more used in the companies?
Nowadays, almost every tool is going declarative.
Okay.
And that is why a lot of people are jumping into the DevOps world, because earlier days, it used to be code that, see, coding when you do, like, for example, you make a website or you make a backend application, those are imperative all.
Okay.
And in the earlier days, DevOps was also imperative. We have to fire the APIs of AWS, go through with the resources, wait for the response. But now a lot of people who don't even know code are jumping into this because you use just a YAML. That means you declare, I need a server with 5 GB RAM. I don't know how to do it. You just do it.
So declarative does not have any procedure basically.
No, it doesn't have any procedure. All the things, if you look, I'll show you in the next class some example of how the Terraform code looks like, or you can just Google a Terraform code or something.
Yeah.
You see that there is just a declaration that I need this server. That's it. I don't know how you'll do it.
Okay. And the third is orchestration jargon that you use. So I can consider orchestration as workflow.
Orchestration, let me go back. Where is that? Here it is. This is orchestration. So just ask, please, again.
Can I consider this jargon as in workflow?
Not really, but yeah, loosely you can say it's a workflow. Like workflow to what? Workflow to
I have
manage multiple systems?
Yes, I have used this particular tool in my company. I'm in operations team. So I use this particular tool to build some KMS keys, some AWS accounts, and so on and so forth. So we basically...
so that is an orchestration tool.
Yeah. So we basically run the flow. If you want to create any service, right? If you want to go for KMS key and for anything, VPC and anything else.
Yep. The tool that you're using, that is an orchestration tool.
So it's not only about the workflow, it's more than that. If I'm not
it's just a loose definition, because later on I'll be teaching you Kubernetes, and then again we will have another class of probably 1 hour class just to understand the definition of Kubernetes.
Yeah, that is blue-green deployment. No, I heard this statement in Kubernetes workshop in my company, which happened. But today I know exactly what it does. And in a very last question, I'm really sorry. Last question.
These are all good questions. For good questions, I'm never worried about time. I'm worried about those questions which are repetitive. I've already answered them. People didn't listen closely. That's how bad.
So that diagram you showed, right, which shows the integration of development team and the operation teams that code, build, test, and then monitor, and so on and so forth. So is this diagram loosely coupled or tightly coupled? I had that silly question. It might be, but is it loosely coupled in the sense there is no dependency or something like that? So that workflows, you showed the diagram, right? If I'm not wrong.
there is no such thing as loosely coupled or a such thing. Like the whole idea is to bring all the team together. That is what all I wanted to show.
Okay, but that cycle has to be run, right? Okay, fine.
Cycle always is automatically already running. If you are able to push the code to the end user, it is already running.
So if one stage also fails, it will it affect other stages?
Yeah, it will affect.
Somewhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
for your time. Bye.
Next up is hi Yogesh.
Hey, hi Tesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I have one question. Does this course will really help me in MLOps?
Yes, of course. If you think these all the things that we have discussed, if you think these are part of MLOps, then yes. What do you do in MLOps?
The same thing like the deploy the applications in Azure Cloud currently in my project. So
If you
I'm
think,
not.
are you going to orchestrate some of the machines there? Are you going to provision some machine?
No. Like I'm
You're
just
not going to
new to
provision
that.
any machine there?
Yeah, they have like provided the access, but right now I'm still in learning phase. So that's what like I was like little bit worried about. So I'm just still learning the YAML file and creating all those things. So that's why I
See,
also
if there
enrolled
is
this
ops
course.
involved, it doesn't really matter where at the end you are involving the ops. Ops is same operations.
Correct.
If
Yes.
anything that goes in cloud or is being handed over to the server, that is your ops. And if you think in the ML ops you will be deploying some servers, then obviously. And there is this fanciness these days. ML ops, AI ops, even someday people will call Android ops, iOS ops, DevSecOps, SecOps, Cloud SecOps, God knows what ops.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
this will continue, man. These days DevOps is a trend.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Idesh. And we'll look forward to your all the classes. Thanks a lot.
Sure. All right.
Thanks.
Hi, Abir Roy.
Hitesh.
Hi, how are you? Tell me.
Good. So I have a question. I keep on hearing two jargons in my organization. One is SRE and another is DORA. I think DORA metrics.
We don't want to discuss them right now, otherwise it will create a lot of confusion.
But will be covered down the line, right?
Not sure, because every organization use certain jargon, certain tools, and they are restricted to those organization only. Maybe some are proprietaries and stuff. So I need to check what and how much we are covering. This is in general course, so that you are not tied with the specific organization or tools.
Got it. So I mean, just for some information, right? We are a GCP organization. So maybe
that is why you are hearing them a lot. This course is moreover like oriented a little towards the AWS, but you know the cloud, it's same. A lot of people are afraid of AWS or GCP or Azure. You know, it's the same machine, same ports open. Just the terms are a little different. We call it CloudWatch. There we call it a little different. We call it instance here. We call it different. Just a different name. The behind the scene, it's same.
Got it. Okay. All right. I mean, just in case I need some help in understanding, can I write directly to you?
We will try our best, and hopefully the community and everybody is here. Cannot guarantee you that I'll be personally helping you in those personal things, but I'll try.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Couple of more questions that I'll be taking, and then we'll be calling it off a day. Hi, Rahul.
Hey, hi, Hitesh.
Hi, tell me.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to thank you for this wonderful course. And I was just waiting for my
Tell me.
Yeah. And I was waiting to talk with you from since last 5 years.
Oh man, long wait. You could have pinged me on
many
Instagram or
times.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I tried many times, but I was unlucky.
Tell me.
Yeah, I am looking for these books which you told. Can you
Books,
share
I will
this?
actually, I don't have right out of that. I'll prepare a list and I'll share it as a resources in the class itself. Probably by next week or something, I need to prepare a list of all the blogs and articles and all of that. I keep on sharing them on my Instagram and LinkedIn as well, because this is not something which is a hidden knowledge or something. I share them openly, no problem at all.
Okay, and another one, like if the topic is Linux, will we cover all the topics like LVM management?
We will
These
try,
types of
but saying that we'll be covering 100% of Linux, it's already a difficult statement.
yeah.
So we'll try our best. And in fact, we'll also open up the doubt support line so that in case there is anything new or something that you can share, because I believe this is not a class where you are students, I'm teaching some students. This is more over like a collaborative approach where whatever I know, I teach you. If something there is new to learn, you help me to learn that, and I can teach to other people as well.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Siddesh. Nice to
Sure.
talk to you.
Sure. All right. Okay. Louis wants to say. Okay. Hi, Louis. Hi. Anything to say, discuss? Nothing? All right. Okay, one last we'll be taking. Oh, no raised hands on that. And all right, one last we'll be taking is from Vansh Jain.
Hi, Tish.
Hi, Vansh, tell me.
So can we have like topic with respect to dates which will be covered in the class so that I can go through simultaneously with the iNeuron portal as well?
There is no such thing as of now. Simply because there are some times which our curriculum is being changed on the fly based on how the class is going on. That is the difference between the live classes and the video recordings. Video recording always go in X flow and it always remains that. But in live classes, sometimes we change the flow based on looks like this is too difficult for the students right now. Let's go ahead and skip this one first. Let's teach this one first. But right now we are getting started with Linux. That's all I can say.
Okay.
And
so do
the
we have
plan
any
is
plan like how we are going to proceed with like first we will be completing Linux and then
as
so
of
any
now the
idea on
plan
like
is, but again with this a big asterisk it comes that hey, plan can change. The first plan is to cover up Linux and then Git. This is right now the plan.
okay, great.
But again, remember, it always comes with asterisk. Yes, we'll cover all the topics, no hesitation in that part. But sometimes we feel, okay, we are teaching load balancer, so load balancer could be difficult. Let's first teach EC2, or EC2 could be difficult. Let's first teach VPC. So things sometimes jumble around.
Okay, no. So I was asking because I can simultaneously like cover up those topics instead of going through all the videos and like getting everything out of my mind. Instead of that, like covering the same
Go with
topic
Linux
which is in
first.
class.
Go with Linux first. Nothing else. Go with Linux first. And before starting the topic, it's not going to be like we told you AWS and suddenly started Terraform. No, it's not going to happen like that.
Okay.
Internal topics might shuffle a little bit. Let first day we are teaching about files, then we are teaching networking, but everything will happen in Linux itself.
Okay, so do we have like overview of which like topic or technologies needs to be covered in a flow? Like first we'll be completing Linux, then Git. So do we have any other plans for after that?
You can see in the course curriculum, the curriculum that is mentioned, we'll be following that.
Okay.
All right, so I think that's all the class we have taken for today. And tomorrow, Saksham will be teaching